Welcome to Thursday, Year 6. We're going to be going through our day as we have every other day this week. We'll start with our literacy contract. So here we are doing the same thing we've been doing all week. So we'll click on our literacy contract. We'll do 1 to 2 of our activities and we will do our work on the section provided or on the next page. Remember, if you are doing it in your book, you are more than welcome just to upload an image into those sections there. Our next part is our shared reading. So we're going to, over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we looked at a speech and we looked at the speech and a delivery on separate days. Today, we're going to look at Olivia's. And we're going to look at both parts of her speech and the way she delivered it. So for this activity, again, Mr. Martin and I have done the hard thinking there for you, and we've told you what are the elements that she's used for her speech and what are the elements she's used for the delivery of her speech. So then we have the question, give an example of what you believe was the most successful part in her speech. So that's that first section. And then what was the most successful part in the delivery of her speech? And why do you think this? So remember, when we say, why do you think this? That means to give examples from the text to tell us exactly why you think it and what was said or done to make you think that way. And so that will be completed on the next slide. And the question is there again for you. For our writing, so we've finished our brainstorming, we've finished our researching, we've finished all of that part. We're now up to doing our introduction for our speech. So this is the real speech for our Voice of Youth. So again, in that same you've been in last week and this week, you are going to start actually writing the introduction to your speech. Remembering all the speeches that you've watched, you've listened to, how did they hook in their audience? How did they introduce their speech? We want you to be thinking about, what can I do to introduce my speech? So we have to write it and then into that doc that we've got provided for you.
All right, so for maths today, Year 6, for your warm-up, like we've been doing every other day, we want you guys to log into Metific or into Study Ladder and just do one activity. That's going to be your warm-up. Look for the time task because that's going to be linking into the learning we've been doing. Your rich task for today is that over the last 2 days, you guys have finished your itinerary for your trip around Australia. What you are going to do now is that you guys are going to be creating timelines for each week that you are away. So like we've said here, you guys, if you do 3 weeks where you're traveling away, you need to create 3 different timelines, one for each week. So every 7-day period, you guys need to create a timeline to tell us what you are doing during that time. If you guys forget how to make a good timeline and using good intervals and anything else, have a rewatch of the video that we used on Monday, and that will give you guys a hand of making sure you know what you need to do. And lastly, for today, we're going to be doing a little bit of science. So what you'll need to do is that you guys will need to go into the science tab and click on the sheet that says energy converters. For this task, you'll be looking at different objects and you'll need to state, where does the energy come from for this item? And what does that item convert that energy into, and what type of energy does it produce? So everything on there gets its energy from somewhere else and then converts that energy into a different form. What you will need to do is that you will need to look at those objects. We want you guys to think about, where does it get its energy from? What does it create it into? And write that down. For one of those items, what you will need to do is that you will have a look, and after you've worked through them, you will choose one to do a little bit more research on and go into a little bit more detail about how does that item convert its energy from one source into another source. Once you are done,
I'm going to say, Mr. Martin, would it help if we went into that tab?
Have a look and show you guys, yeah. So you guys will click into this worksheet here. And you guys will see here, so when the image loads, we've put images of different sort of everyday objects, and they get their energy from somewhere else and they convert it into something. So we've put the 2 questions below. So solar panels, where does their energy come from? What type of source of energy does it get? And what does it convert it into? And we've done that for, there's a lot of different items on this page. We've told you what type of items they are, and you guys need to think about how do they, or what does their energy come from and what do they convert it into? And then down the bottom, your research item. So you're going to choose one of those items on this sheet and then do a little bit more thorough research into how do they convert their different forms of energy. So like we have said, every other day at 9:30, we'll be doing another Zoom link to help go through with you guys any other questions if you still have questions after this instruction video. And make sure that you're uploading your work onto the slides, and Mrs. Moore and I will try and give you as much feedback as we can. All right, thanks, Year 6. We'll see you tomorrow.